Hello there. My name is Victor James. This is Live Conversations with Victor James. Thank you very much for joining me again. It's a new year, 2026, and this is January. And my hope is by December 2026, I personally will look back to 50 episodes at least of this program, of this podcast. And on the other hand, you will look back to a full year. You will look back and think, well, this has been a full year. A full year in the sense of you've been happy and yet you've prospered. I think finding a balance between these two factors, these two action points, is one of the difficult things to do. To find prosperity and balance it with joy, happiness. So that's why you will find that the most happiest people on earth, by statistics, psychological statistics, are usually those who live in the most prospered countries, because they are able to balance the two. But in my part of the world, which majority of my listeners still dwell, it may not be quite easy to balance your happiness with prosperity. I used to tag myself. I still tag myself. Okay, maybe I've stopped. Between the year 2012 and 2022, I used to call myself the happiest man on earth. That I will always be happy. I will always be happy. I'm not always be happy. I will be the happiest person. So the reason for coming up with this was that growing up, I wasn't the richest. Never have I been the richest kid in the room, in any class. In fact, I've never been, let's say, top 10. Either primary school, which was quite rural. I went to a very a local primary school, a state government run school. So it was, I wasn't in the top 10, top half safe. Then went to secondary school, another government secondary school, wasn't in the top 10. So I wasn't prepared. I wasn't preparing, let me say, for a life of prosperity. It wasn't ingrained in my head. Maybe I should redefine that. Not prosperity. I should say money. Yeah, rather prosperity, because it's not the same thing. He said that thou mayest prosper and be in it, even as thou still prosper. That thou mayest prosper is a full definition. So I do not think you can separate happiness from prosperity. Maybe I have to even go back. Maybe it's paradoxical to say happiness, you can't separate. I think happiness has to be in prosperity. So maybe riches, even riches too. There are different definitions of riches. I've always been rich in people. It's a merciful gift God gave me. I've always had people who want me to be happy, from family, from friends till now, by God's grace. So, meaning that I've had riches. But have I always had money? Maybe it should be clear. No. So wealth, riches, prosperity, they are full. Like wealth is much more. It's a fuller definition, rather than to say you have money. All right. So, what's an introduction? Happy New Year. And I'm very happy to be here today to talk and record this podcast. It's been a great year already. One thing I've realized is that my back, since the ending of last year, my back, I've had a bit of back pain. So it was last week that I realized, finally understood why I had back pain. A lot of people have cut me off. So it seems a lot of people cut me off in between December and January. So in the constant cutting of, repetitive cutting off, I ended up having back pain, because maybe that's where they cut me off from. Anyway, who have you cut off? Who has cut you off? I saw somebody's status that I had not seen for about 3 years. To this week. I say, thank God though. Some people are cutting me off, some people are letting me back in. Thank you. So what do we talk about? Of course, it's the newness of a year. And like I mentioned, this will be a more frequent year of podcast. It's not a resolution, it's just an information. I'm just sharing that information, don't worry. By next week, I would have another podcast. And I have at least 50. It's just a statement of fact. So I saw the review of last year's podcast on Spotify early this morning, and I was quite humbled by the number of persons who listened to this small boy. I didn't. Maybe I'm not sure I've considered that before. That there are a lot of people that listen to you, and maybe they take you very seriously. But so it's something that happens with people who make impact. They don't really understand or appreciate the impact they are making. So you just believe that you are doing well, and that's it. Or you wake up in the morning and you do this work. For the person who is the beneficiary of that work, it's a great work. But for you, it's just work. And you are not necessarily going back to think over what you've achieved, because you need to stay grounded, you need to stay humble. And one of the best ways to stay humble is by detaching oneself, one's sense of importance from whatever important thing you are doing. So you detach yourself from, because pride is fed by the self. So if you can remove yourself from whatever you are doing, whatever service you are delivering, you may be saving life, you may be a surgeon that is working for free, so that you detach yourself from it, so that pride will not set in, that you remain humble, which is important for you to continue doing great things. However, the flip side of that is you may not really give a premium to what you are doing. So that's the temptation, to understate your own influence, which may affect you. You may just wake up one day and see you are not doing anymore, because you are not directly in tune with what exactly you are doing. That makes sense. Anyway, so this year I've seen a lot. As we see, it's a motivated year. I love it. A lot of persons, they've been saying they want to do this, they will do that, and I like to hear that. I'm all for self-improvement in whatever form, whether it's called resolution or decision. I love to see people make an attempt at self-improvement. That's I didn't release this episode in the first week, because I knew a lot of persons. It's like January 1, let's go, blow the whistle, boom, everybody's out. You have let everybody out from the gate open, everybody starts running like horses out of the year, into the year. YouTube channel everywhere. People doing this, say, I will be more consistent here this year. So I said that we wait. Let the whirlwind, let it go first. Let everybody run along. Then, in the quietness that usually follows the second week of January, I will now come out and start my own steadily, which is what I want to talk about. Steadiness. Consistency is more important than size and than speed. Yeah, let me say speed. It's how we grew up. Every year you move 1 year. When we're doing primary, secondary, university, every year you just JSS1, JSS2, JSS2, JSS3, JSS3, JSS1, then to say JSS4. Then university, other level, to other level, to other level. So we were quite consistent, and the growth that was quite evident in our first 20 years. If you graduated early like me, is great, has been great. However, since we finish school till now, a lot of us may not really measure that growth. Anyway, because we are designed to measure growth with promotion, and that still worries many of us today, till today. So many of us are just here now. We are not necessarily thinking that we are growing because there is no GSS1 to go to, there's no GSS3 to go to, there's no laid down rung of the ladder that you are saying, oh, I'm climbing this, be promotion at workplace, which happens in government work. I'm in level 1, level 2, level 3, level 24. That gave sanity to our fathers, the previous generation were mostly government workers. But now we have people who are doing business, we have people who are running their own show, who are doing their own, who are pursuing with their own talent, who are on their own self-employed creators, we have freelancers, we have people who are working with financial institutions who do not necessarily follow that stepwise arrangement in career progression. So now we are lost. And then we are now thinking, am I doing anything? Am I just here? Am I stuck here? But there is a kind of progress that happens with quietness, but it has to be consistent. So if you are just running and running and running, you would most likely, it's good if you can run on forever, but as we have seen, most people cannot run on forever, cannot be at top speed forever. Of course, every now and then in a generation, there comes one or two persons that their life story seems as if they sprinted through their life. But for most of us, I like to think that we are here to beat the average, not to match up with the extraordinary top runners. That's again consistency. Let me repeat that. We are here just beat the average. It's not just, maybe I should remove just, you must beat the average. So the average man, they live comfortably, and that's it. You have to understand that when you say average, this is maths now. Most people are below average. I'm talking about 85% of people live and die below average. Average is a successful man, comfortable man, but you want to beat that average. So I like that. I put context to that, so it doesn't seem as if I'm endorsing mediocrity. So yeah, if you can beat the average, how can you beat the average? It is go at average speed, but go consistently and go far. So don't go down. Don't become someone who just wakes and sleeps and binges on binge TV shows, nothing doing. Just collect every now and then, live at the mercy of other people, collect your medium salary, and you are not seeking to do more. You don't want to do things for others. You don't want to be relevant. You don't want to be bigger than. No. That's below average. But who is average is somebody who sees their life as, well, yeah, I'm growing, but quietly. That's the problem. We always have a problem with quiet growth. That's why beginning of the year like this, we want to see index. If you check most people's cards about what they wrote down, by the way, if all you want to do this year is not written anywhere, not on a note, not on your phone notepad, not on your jotter, nowhere, possibility of achieving it falls by about 95%. It's very likely that it's going to fail. But someone writes it down, it doesn't mean that they would achieve it, but possibility increases. And of course, we are working with data. The world is a numbers world. All right. So once we are quiet, we'll tend to think that nothing is happening in my life. But if you look back, really, is that correct? Have you not been a better person because of a negative event that happened? Because you lost a friend. Didn't you notice that you've been more in terms with your own emotion, and you have been more understanding of people, you have been more patient, you'll be kinder since your friend died. But of course, it's one of the most terrible things to happen in your life story. But there was a positive thing that came. You grew. Don't you realize that since that heartbreak, you've been more calculated, you've been less, impulsive about things. You've learned to
be more understanding of people, and you learn to be less judgmental too. So you have grown, but your growth has been character and quiet. Therefore, you think you haven't. And that's one thing too that I've noticed in the resolutions that I've seen so far. A lot of people do not add anything about character. We just say that I will get promoted this year. I will get the certification this year. I would even spiritual. Let's say I will be praying for 3 hours per day this year. But character-wise, we have not necessarily put things down. I will show more kindness this year. I will not gossip. I will not spread gossip about people this year. I will learn to show more loyalty to friends this year. I would be more sacrificial, less selfish this year. I will give my time for God in programs, in church programs, as church service, church work this year. I will be less talkative this year. I will, these are things that once you add, please, you need to add them to the things you are thinking of, so that at every point when people are talking and you want to, lambast somebody, you remember, I've said that I will be less reactive, I'll be less angry this year. Therefore, you just kind of swallow it. I'll be more meek. I will show more humility. I will not. I will be more open to correction this year. I will not. I'll be less defensive this year. And then when when you read the post or somebody is talking to you trying to correct, you don't quickly go on the offensive, because you have said, this is what I want to do more this year. And that stays in your consciousness like a cloud over your head. And you realize that by December, many of these character deficiencies, they have eased out of your life. At least they have reduced. So please, let it not be that it's just, I want to achieve. What do you want to become? And that ties me back to the beginning: wealth, happiness versus money. We cannot allow the springboard or the balance of life not tilt towards money. All of us will suffer for it. It must always tilt towards wealth, towards riches, towards more complete prosperity. So that's what I feel that we should do more. Are you happy? Do you want to be happier? How do you cultivate happiness? At every point where people express joy, express joy. It's as simple as that. Laugh, don't cook up yourself. Don't swallow the positive emotion of joy every time you have opportunity to let it out. It's good. It makes you an happy person. And you can't, in your quietness, I think most of us would spend more time with ourselves than with people. All humans, that's how we are. In that case, now you have to also pay attention to what you do while you are with yourself. What are your predominating thoughts? What do you think about? You need to. They must be self. What is it called? The thoughts that you have about yourself must be able to boost you up. Positive. I would do better. I am a great person. I will be better. I am better. I am good. I am pleasant. You think that about yourself. It makes you happy. You don't think about others negatively. That's what many people do, and it drops us as humans. It drops us off happiness to think about negative. This man, why will he say that? You are whether it's a stranger, a bus driver, a bus conductor, you rule that matter, that evil that they did in your mind over and over again. You turn out to be unhappy. You realize that this has nothing to do with money. So it's just about you. So Happy New Year once again, and this is Victor James once again, and I hope you share this podcast if it's ministered, or sorry, if it has spoken something to you. I hope to see you very soon, very, very soon. Cheers and bye bye.